My writing project for English class this time around is about, out of these 4 editing softwares, which one of these are the best, which I kind of realize now as I'm recording it that I don't really rank them per se. I just kind of talk about the pros and cons, what's all with them and not. So enjoy that. We're gonna have some fun. The 4 editing softwares I'm going to be looking into are DaVinci's Resolve, Adobe Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, and Sony Vegas Pro. So I'm gonna have some fun with this per se, I guess. I had a lot of fun looking into this and really looking up all the things that you can do, and I did genuinely enjoy doing this. So let's hop into it. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I do have notes on a tablet written down right here just to make sure I stay on track. So if I do look down for a bit, I'm just refreshing my brain a little bit just to make sure that I don't really get off topic, or if I miss anything, I can look down, redo it. Now let's jump into it. With the first editing software I talk about be DaVinci's Resolve. I happen to have a soft spot for DaVinci's Resolve as it happens to be my first editing software that I use on computer, and I'd say it's pretty reliable. Now, I wanted to talk about the first thing, and that being the price point for DaVinci's Resolve, which is a whopping $295, which it sounds like a lot, which, I mean, yeah, it kind of is. However, you only pay $295 for the software, and then you get everything with it. It's the whole package, and you pay nothing more. You pay $295, you get all future updates for free, and everything else for free. Now, another thing I wanted to get into was the special effects. DaVinci's Resolve has pretty solid special effects, as I believe you can use them in the free version, and it lets you make your own plugins when you buy it. So you have access to the special effects tab too in the free version, but you get access to more as you normally would when you buy it. And another thing, you get to make your own plugins, you get to use other people's plugins. Oh, I forgot to also mention another thing too, and that is that it also has its own pre-made special effects, and let me tell you, they are actually very, very much so good. Actually, they're pretty good. I like them a lot. I like how you can customize them pretty well. They're pretty good. I like it a lot. I'll probably throw up a video that I've made with the said special effects, and it went pretty well. And like I've mentioned before, it doesn't take an insanely strong computer to use DaVinci's Resolve, but it does take a nice beefy computer to run it. It doesn't take the most insane computer, but I think you need a nice beefy computer just to really run it. I'll put the specs right here for everything, the OSs that I can run and everything else that you need right here. Now, I would say if you're getting into video editing, DaVinci's Resolve is definitely going to be the video editor that I would recommend anybody to get into first, simply because of the free version. Since it's not a trial, you're not timed on it, there's no urgency, you get to learn pretty fast on it. It's pretty good. Now, here is every film that has used DaVinci's Resolve. Now, another thing I wanted to mention is that you actually get DaVinci's Resolve Premium for free if you buy a Blackmagic camera, but if I remember correctly, they are pretty expensive, so keep that in mind, definitely. Alright, now moving on to the next editing software, and if I had to say what was industry standard, I would definitely say this one, which would be Adobe Premiere Pro. This editing software is being used for literally every movie, and that's including the other program too for special effects too. I don't think I've ever seen a movie that has not used Adobe Premiere Pro. Alright, so let's get into the price. It starts off at a free trial, of course, and that's fine. Kinda. Personally, I like a free version more. DaVinci. Adobe Premiere Pro starts off at $20 per month just to use that program. There's other price points too for you to use other programs too, like special effects, like After Effects is what I meant to say. Sorry. Adobe After Effects along with Premiere Pro, and they both have compatibility with each other since they're made by the same company. However, if you're in, say, school or college, I believe the school will usually provide it for you while you're in school. Like right now, currently I'm actually using it to edit a video because My camera died in the middle of this. Here are the specs for Adobe Premiere Pro. As I just mentioned, I'm editing on a laptop. I use it on a laptop and it's pretty well. It runs pretty well. I've only crashed it like once or twice, maybe 4 times. I will say one thing too about Premiere Pro is that the learning curve is a lot different than DaVinci's Resolve. At least I would like to say that. It didn't take me very long to learn how to use Adobe Premiere Pro, since my dad also has told me that if I liked DaVinci's Resolve, I'll love Premiere Pro. And he's not wrong now, but I will definitely say I had a lot tougher time learning how to use Premiere Pro than I did DaVinci's Resolve, and that I will be completely honest when I say that I absolutely hated editing on Adobe Premiere Pro. I did not like it at all whatsoever, and every time I used it, I got extremely angry. However, it does pay off learning how to use the program. I promise it really does. Adobe Premiere Pro is used by many content creators. It's used to edit many films. It's just a pretty strong, really reliable. All right, and here are all the movies that I could find that use Adobe Premiere Pro. Alrighty, now we're moving on and taking a look back at Sony Vegas Pro. I've never used this program, but I've heard quite a bit about it. The way that I describe Sony Vegas Pro, at least in my mind when I think of it as an editing software, is I describe it as the grandpa of editing softwares. One common thing I've heard about Sony Vegas Pro is that it was prone to crashing a lot, and I don't think anybody would like to deal with that, because what I heard is that when it would crash, it would corrupt the entire video that you were working on, so you would have to just restart from the bottom, or you would lose progress. And there are multiple different payment methods for Sony Vegas Pro, with these subscriptions ranging from about the lowest being $7.99 a month, with the highest subscription being $34.99 a month. And you can also just outright buy the license to have it, which is a pretty nice touch, so thanks, Grandpa. Now, Sony Vegas Pro does have special effects, but I literally know nothing about it, considering I've never used the editing software at all. So there's that. Now, Sony Vegas isn't industry standard anymore, but it was good for the time. Let's say that it walked so Premiere Pro could run. And here are the specs and productions that have used Sony Vegas Pro. Final Cut Pro can only be used on Macs, and I don't like that. Final Cut Pro can be used on Macs, but it is a part of the small minority of editors, and it is industry standard, so I'll give it that. Happily though, it is a one-time purchase of $299.99. So honestly, that's not bad. So I do know that it does have special effects, but just like Sony Vegas, I've never used it, so I don't know how good they are at all. And I don't really have much else to say. Here are the specs, here are the productions it's been used in. Well, that concludes the making of this video. I learned a lot and I had a lot of fun making it, so see ya.